Policy solidifies certain people's bias, and I'm not going to endorse that. Teachers have to vote on it. They're not going to go with this.
Are you suggesting delete no flag other than the United States of America, blah, 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 blah? No. Okay. Trying to figure out how to include this stuff up here.
Yep.
Just where it says, the bottom of the paragraph on page 3.
Right.
Just add it to the list of.
After gymnasiums.
Yeah.
And how would we do that? College flag?
I listed everything you said. I listed.
You do? Okay. And student club flags during meetings, right?
I disagree with all that.
And this doesn't have anything to do with what teachers have on their person, and, you know, there's a lot, Michelle. It has a lot.
This does not technically talk about any kind of dress code or anything that staff officials would be wearing.
On their personal space, like on their desk. Does that speak to that, or are we just talking walls and
This speaks to flags in the learning environment, so I would think that it would mean that they have to follow this on their desk too.
doesn't mean that's
Well, when we talk about negotiating the impacts, RTA would be able, and RESPA would be able to speak to that and actually negotiate.
Is the LGBTQ community considered a protected class?
Yes.
There's discrimination against protected class.
I would have to answer that.
It's discrimination against a protected class. Not at all.
Could it be challenged? Possibly. I don't know what their standard is.
I would hope it did. Once again, Michelle, I say for our teachers, on behalf of our teachers, especially our out teachers that you clearly have no respect for, who,
Why do you make those typos very common?
because I'm brave enough to say the things out loud that you're not willing to say. I don't want to agree because I have an awakened residence post that shows a pride flag.
I hope that wasn't directed at me.
We need to stop the Nazis.
Well, but she can direct it towards me and
Right. I didn't direct it towards anyone. I said there is an awakened Redlands post that includes a pride flag, does it not?
That's one of the flags that would be included. There's a million ideological
Fancy
flags.
any other flags?
Never. How does that represent what we're doing right here?
Because you're speaking out as a member, right?
I'm speaking today as a
Is that
board
not your
member.
organization?
Doesn't have anything to do with it.
So that's not your organization.
I'm not talking to you about this. This is
Let's move
ridiculous.
along. Miscellaneous events and celebrations.
Oh, I'm gonna go back, Michelle. I'm not good with that whole paragraph. I want to delete that. I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay,
That's discriminating and I won't do that. I'm here to support our teachers, our students. And you're basically going right back.
okay, so you're saying
After it says, for other occasions by other the president in accordance with presidential instructions or orders, period. Let all the other flags, let everyone come, right? Clubs, everything, yes.
okay, let's move down to focus on academics.
Can I have the example of where this would come into play? Legislators. School-sponsored events and activities must align with the district's educational goals. How are they not? School-sponsored events and activities must align with the district's educational goals. How are they currently not?
I don't know, this is just saying they must.
I understand that, but give me an example of something that wouldn't, so I can agree to it or not. And I can offer to please elaborate.
angry, we're just wasting time. For example, do you think that a teacher should have a Trump flag flying in their classroom? And
If a teacher is brave enough to put up a Trump flag in their classroom and she's doing them, then I don't care.
I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think we should be influencing them unless
I
it's part of
guarantee you-
political. Please, you asked me to answer you. I'm answering.
I asked you for
don't think it's
clarification.
appropriate unless they are discussing national politics and they discuss both sides. I don't think that would be appropriate because you're influencing the children. A teacher is a very influential position. And they have a huge impact on what kids believe. Parents who disagree with certain things, especially politics, of what's being taught in the district, they don't want to speak up. They complain to other people. They don't want their child to be harassed or retaliated against. I hear it all the time. You hear the opposite. My point is, let's respect everybody. Let's respect all of the people's beliefs and not
Let's respect
bias.
everybody and leave things as they are, because your way of respecting people eliminates my people.
No one's trying to eliminate it.
Oh, yeah, and all I did was ask, I didn't ask for all of that, I asked for clarification on what civic understanding without emphasizing or endorsing
You said,
political,
give an
social, or
example of
religious.
a social,
Yeah, give me an example.
I just
That
did.
was not an example.
it is an example, endorsing a particular political belief. I gave you an example.
So, what about religious beliefs? We had someone speak about holy and what, there are other celebrations out there that we're not allowed to recognize now?
You're supposed to keep religion and politics out of the schools. That's the
We're
general.
not teaching it, we are celebrating it.
We don't take a position on any religion.
No,
We do not make
accommodations.
Of course we make accommodations,
So
but we
if
don't
during
have the
Ramadan,
district.
we want to celebrate our Muslim students, why are we not allowed to do that?
No, we don't celebrate different religious holidays. We accommodate children that wouldn't need accommodations, but we do not celebrate. What are you gonna celebrate all religions now? We should be
We're not teaching it, we are celebrating people, celebrating diversity. It would not be harmful to learn about other religions.
About religion is different than celebrating a religious belief or event.
I thought we were supposed to be educating students.
Educating is different than celebrating.
So, it's acknowledgement.
I think you know the difference between a celebration and an education. Can we move on to policy, please?
I choose not to.
I want to scratch that part too.
So if two of you are not willing, you're not moving forward, then can you just let the three of us discuss it? Because that is,
Absolutely not.
well,
Because I am just as much of this board as you are, and my opinion matters. My constituents matter. The constituents in your guys' area that did not vote for you matter.
my point is, if they're just wanting to scratch the policy is what
Yeah.
you said. So
It's not
what are
right.
we doing?
It's just not right, we're wasting our time.
We're making a circus of our district, that's what we're doing.
Obviously, three of us do not see it that way.
Is that true, Michelle?
Are you okay with? If you take that out, are you okay with that? Those positive activities must align with district education goals, promoting academic excellence, skill development, and civic understanding without emphasizing or reversing.
I was not without emphasizing or endorsing political, social, or religious beliefs. This is very vague, that's the
You
issue.
don't do that. You don't emphasize particular political or social or religious.
No, we don't, then why do we need to say it?
Why do we have to have it in there?
We know what we do. We don't need to put anything in there.
Our students are thriving, Michelle. We have done a lot of hard work.
Yes.
So why are we letting this happen?
I'll tell you one thing, I would, with this policy on our school grounds. I know we went through this a couple years ago. On our school grounds, I only would like to see the American flag and California flag flown at our schools. That's all we have. Take outside. I don't want that to come back again, and we're gonna be talking about that again. So
What,
it's not,
flying the pride flag on our flagpoles?
yeah, so that's part of.
We're not doing that.
I know.
We're doing, in California, said that from the beginning, what they choose to do, teachers in their classroom, what they choose to do for their.
With respect to the student, yeah, I don't.
We're wasting time.
And also thinking about that's not okay. I've had students come tell me they transferred out of classes because of that. They wanted so much to see something involving them, so they transferred out. Which that's not.
And I've had the opposite, saying because of that, the inclusivity.
Yeah, so
That I've had, I've been able to do it, yeah. And it's not like either, so can we just move on and just scratch this, please?
Move on to the next one.
So what's going on with this policy?
We'll bring it back at another time. Move on.
Yeah, and I'll discuss a policy that isn't, going to be discriminatory. Something that actually has data proven benefit to our students. That's what we need to be focused on.
Taking care of our students and merit, and this doesn't.
And we've already said it belongs to the student.
Let's go. We're gonna take AR, board policy 5010.
You don't have, here. Which one?
50.
Is it the album? What? Order pizza. So
Policies, one is the board policy, the other is the administrative regulation. Basically, one states the policy, the other one also speaks to implementation. So the AR speaks to implementation.
I'm gonna start on this one, second paragraph.
Which one?
We don't have in there, is the reason why we have that. I know that, I told you about it,
The idea is not to change anything because this went through the law, it went through, the whole Chino Valley lawsuit and it came out the other side intact and it's a lawful policy. So that's why I didn't want to change a single word on it because it's lawful and it's intact.
lie.
Excuse me, saying I'm lying, it's not a lie.
Thank you. The part that says the district also acknowledges that the child is not a mere creature of the state. This one, like that part.
You can edit it later. We can pass it and edit it.
No,
right?
no,
We're not.
We're not asking, we're
We're not voting
discussing.
on it. Is it helpful to have the current lawsuits being treated as helpful in the policy? Like,
Can be, because then you have something to refer to. And just to clarify our understanding of Chino, so that the board is aware, our understanding from legal that I've spoken to is Chino Valley's notification policy is currently going through negotiations. And so it is something that still needs to be settled through PERB. And that doesn't speak to the legality of it, that speaks to the process of implementation. So it is still being challenged in Chino, but my understanding is the legal part of it is not.
That's right, because we would be going through negotiations, so we wouldn't have that per problem.
Policy 2. The principal is designating our staff shall notify the parent guardian when the student participates in school sponsored curricular or co-curricular activity. Oh, sorry. I think we need to put this on the parents' part. Like maybe put it in parent portal so the parents can see it or something. I don't know, we need the principal, I think that notify all the parents, that's just, you know, anytime kids join clubs in the year, I don't think that some called. And parents can go like to the parent portal or the area and look at that and have conversations with kids about what's up there and, but all the clubs, every single one should be put in that same portal. Because I wanna know what my kids are doing, where they are at certain times during the day or after school. I would say change that.
What number is that?
Michelle, have your kids or grandkids ever joined a club that they didn't talk about?
And all district employees shall take every student's statement regarding the safety of intent seriously. Where are you, Michelle? The whole thing is that in the AR. That's number 4. That's number 4. That's something you only address that in the AR. But I think it's in there.
I think that needs, if we're talking about the, which one are we talking about? Number 4? Yeah, I think that needs to go into the parents' rights and responsibilities.
It's not ours.
Yeah.
Does that go under the AR though?
So number 1, scratch out. Notify the parents of minors within 3 days from the date of district or administration certificate. Staff becomes aware that a student is requesting to change any information contained in the student's official or unofficial records. It's not our place.
If they already get notification on official, I would like to strike unofficial.
It's not this one.
Give me an example of unofficial records.
A classroom role sheet.
Official is it not?
No.
What else is unofficial?
Probably Aries in some respect would be considered unofficial because it might have nicknames. It might have nicknames, like if you go by Junior instead of John.
What about our Asian students who have an American name? Is that not a change? What if my daughter, her name is Samantha, if she chooses to go by Sam, why do I need to get a phone call for it? No?
When they register for school, is there a place where they list names or?
Yeah.
Okay. A change would be.
Yeah, she doesn't have a nickname as Sam, people have just decided to adopt her as Sam. So why do I need to get a phone call from every teacher apparently? Well, how do I know which teacher is doing it?
Who's gonna call?
Who's tasked?
Who's the one calling? I don't think they need to.
No. It says notify parents or guardians in writing, not call.
Oh, no. Am I getting an email? I already got a lot of emails from the district.
I think it does address how, when, why in the AR.
Okay.
Oh, let's do what we were talking about before, in Aries, you only get your kid notified on your own kid, not the entire district. Just be respectful of everyone.
Well, put it in the report, put it in the parenting, put it all in there.
Yeah, if we make it a policy, then it applies to the entire district.
Can I make a motion that we've been through a lot there since 1 o'clock. We have teachers that sit here that are on spring break now. And we can go around. Yeah, no, I'm saying, can we pick another day we can finish on this? Another workshop continued?
If the board wants to do that, I would just as soon stay and finish these two, but if everybody would like to do that.
I would like to finish this up.
I would like to finish.
I think we are getting nowhere. We're gonna be here till 10 o'clock at night. If we all need some time to calm down, to reassess these policies, I think that would be beneficial. People have been here for hours on end, no one's eaten.
Our free school.
They're not free to go to eat, because what happens when we do things, the whole reason they're here is because we're not being transparent enough. So,
For yourself on that. What they need.
I'm speaking as a board, but, okay, then apparently I'm not being transparent enough. But I think we are, well, you know what, let's do this then. You wanna stay here all night? Let's do this, I have nothing but time.
No, I'm not, Michelle. No, I think we go, and you know what, let's scratch this whole parent notification while we're on the others.
I have a few more petitions.
This is wrong, this is flat out wrong. It doesn't protect our students
Is it legal?
in any way. We're supposed to have a safe environment, but when they come here, they come to us. They come to the school, so that way they know the people that love them is gonna take care of them.
You
Just
know,
wrong.
if you're alluding to the very rare situation where a child could be up for abuse at home, we already have the child abuse reporting laws that the professionals in the schools can do. Most parents, I believe in the country, even if 70 or 80% agree that they should be notified.
That's not true.
Of what's going on with their students, what's going on with their child. Period.
I know you're a social worker, but have you ever had a social worker?
I really don't think it's a place to talk about personal issues.
No, I'm speaking to a personal experience, because part of the notification policy is that if there's suspected abuse, then the authorities, will be calling the authorities, to make sure that everything's okay, and if everything's okay, we proceed with the notification, right? Is that not correct? Correct?
Right.
Yeah, okay, so as someone who has had a social worker, I promise you, I would lie to my social worker because I was told to do so. I did not consider that person to be a safe person, and I would not have told the truth on whether or not I know many times I didn't tell the truth on whether I was happy or not in my home. That's not a reliable source, and so if even one, two, some kids don't tell their social workers the truth, and somebody deems the house safe, it is not, we are still going to tell on them at the risk of them being in an unsafe situation. And this is your career, so I want to know how many times has a student been checked on, and later on it's been determined that that was not a safe home.
Oh, I know it happens, but you can't make a policy based on something happenstance. I mean, if a child, what about the children that get injured from their parents not being told?
What injury?
Parents want to be told what's going on with their
They can be
kids.
told for their own children. I mean, we can dictate that it can be told for, they can be told for their own children, not for the entire district.
I don't
But
understand. What do you mean?
we'll do it in areas too. If you want to be notified about your children's records, which you technically already have a right to, but, what I'm saying is, why are we mandating it for everyone? There are over 19,000 students. Are you gonna tell me that none of our students could be in unsafe homes?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your thinking.
This is a very,
I mean, it's student.
this is a blanket policy that would cover every student. So out of over 19,000 students, can you confidently tell me that there are children that all of our students are in safe homes?
Obviously not.
So are you comfortable with this policy harming some students?
Just like I have to trust what the teachers are doing, what our district is doing, we premise our society on trusting people in certain roles, our librarians, our teachers.
Every conversation, and I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm sorry, every conversation we've had today is about how we don't trust the librarians, we don't trust our teachers to make those decisions, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know, lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Parents want to be notified. That's the main thing I should say is that if parents don't want to be notified of things going on with their children, they can ignore the notification. The majority of parents want to be notified. And I'm not sure what you're meaning about Aries. Is this information they would already have access to?
Yeah, parents have access to everything about their student.
So that it's a matter of whether it gets put into Aries.
No, most of the time it's a matter of whether or not the parent inquires, like if they are going to the school and inquiring about it or emailing the principal or, asking the question. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm a good example. My government name is John Cabral, but I go by Juan. So I would register as John Cabral, but then I would go by Juan, so then Aries would say Juan. My parents, let's say that I registered as John, and then when I became a fifth grader, I want to go by Juan. My parents wouldn't have got a notice that I changed my name to Juan. I mean, go right now, but my point is, that would have been an Aries zone, and then if a parent asks, it would have been there. And that's kind of like, it would be in there that it's Juan, but they wouldn't have gotten a notice home.
Well, sometimes students request unofficial nicknames
Yeah.
or changes that aren't made in the system.
Right. So an unofficial record, when we're talking about that, would have been like anything that a teacher would have done in class that would have a list of students. But right now, I guess the original question, parents, if any parent goes to any of our campuses and wants their official, unofficial record of their kid, they have access to it. We cannot deny them from that.
Official and unofficial.
And unofficial.
So the point of this is that staff, when they know of an unofficial request, it needs to get put into Aries. Is that right?
It can be. Now, that was an example. It's not always. Sometimes, I would think of an example of a kid that wants to be called, junior, and everybody just calls him junior, but it's nowhere. It's not in the Aries, it's not in the official record, they just call him junior because he asked to be called junior. That also happens. There's also kids that want to be called, I don't know.
If they go by unofficial,
I mean, it would be unofficial because there's like no record of it at all, and I think my point is, or the question was, is that parents have access to their kids currently.
have we had a situation, sorry,
Continue to have access to their kids, everything.
have we had any situations where a parent has come and asked for the records and we've denied them?
I mean, it's such a, I can't think of one, but Yeah, I mean, it has to be a valid parent, but yeah, we would be able to deny them any records.
We're already doing
Yes, and if you change your official record right now, the parent gets notified like that. We can't even do that without the parent being involved.
Like their name, you mean?
This is.
Yeah, anytime we do any official record change, we have to notify the parent.
It's not what the policy says.
That's our practice.
Okay, that's not what the policy says. It says do not document, and if the parent comes questioning the practice and questioning why is my child's name different in this Aries, that the school staff is supposed to direct the parent back to the student.
So that's why I use that as an example of an unofficial record. An official record would be a Q file, or would be a transcript, or would be a record that would have the name on that document that the person was registered as. So that would be the official record.
Their name in Aries isn't official.
Could be unofficial depending on, that's why I was using that as an example of what I think most of this.
I think it's important that we're not having the student, I think that the parent should be in charge, not the student. We shouldn't be directing parents to their student to find out what's going on. It should be the other way around. Parents need to be aware of all the major decisions, and I don't think that little examples, like for example, Junior, where parents call him Junior, everyone calls him Junior, that's not gonna cause extra work for anybody. Nobody's gonna think that that's a possibly dangerous situation. If it's assumed parents call him Junior, they know about it, we're not gonna trigger some notification process. I think there's reasonable practice that wouldn't be necessary.
Number 5, the principal or designee or certificated staff shall notify the parent or guardian as soon incident of complaint of verbal or physical altercation. That's when they go in, by arguing to a child within 3 days. I would change that as soon as reasonably possible, or not longer than 3 days. And then the paragraph, the first paragraph, unless otherwise specified, the notification required in section 165 can be by telephone. And if we say mail, it's not going to be the timeline of the policy, because mail takes. So just take out mail out. Because that won't be the policy unless we change the policy online.
It says can be, which means you don't have to bring it, you could do it overnight.
Okay.
I don't think we need a whole different policy for it, though. I think we have regulation 5020, parents' rights and responsibilities. We can fit all of that into that policy.
I have it on the first side.
And in number 7,
We have a second vote.
we need to, it's actually 9 on 7. Oh, yeah, it is. We need to address the notification, if notification can't be made, because there's reasonable suspicion of use. So we're gonna figure out where that's at.
There's mandated reporters. Everybody knows that's a whole nother procedure, so,
We say there's no notification for that student.
right, so you resolve that issue, of whether or not the child is in a safe situation.
Is that written somewhere that there will be no notification?
And they are,
Okay.
And if no resolution comes from, for example, the county, I believe, the school district needs to make efforts to get that resolution.
Okay. And did you check to see if 4A all the way down to 3B is consistent with the 10 PR? Are they consistent? Then The other thing I'd like to take out actually is on the first page, in the middle, it says provide procedures designed to maintain and in some cases restore trust between school district and parents. Which I was just like to take restore.
We already have an administrative regulation of parents' rights and responsibilities. We want to include the suicidal intent verbiage on that. I'm more than fine with that because that is important, as well as the injuries, but I'm not notifying anybody on anything that would harm a child. The fact that it has the potential to harm a child and that's not enough to stop you, like that's insane.
Well, I think the disregarding the students that it would benefit for their parents to be notified.
What would benefit them?
If their parents aren't aware of the changes they're wanting to make and their,
How would that be beneficial
for the parents to be notified,
for the students?
so that their own parent could.
They can do
advise
that.
them
The students can do that.
To do what?
To notify their parent.
I say because.
For whatever reason, they're keeping it a secret, for whatever reason, it can cause harm and danger to that child. So therefore.
What is the reason, what is the reason that a student would be keeping it a secret?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons. I mean, developmentally, a lot of times kids don't tell their parents things. They may be afraid of their reaction, but it doesn't mean their parents are gonna hurt them. They may feel their parent, doesn't agree with them, or for whatever, there's a lot of reasons. Kids don't tell their parents everything, believe me. So it's to the parents' benefit to be informed of anything going on that's significant in a child's life during their time in school.
I know kids don't tell their parents everything, but I think they tell them the important things.
I have one last question on this. What happens if a student turns 18 before they graduate? What does that mean for a student who's 18?
Technically, a student who turns 18 becomes their own adult. This would apply.
We have majority of business will
Would like to give the board? No. No.
yes.
I'm very disappointed in all of you because this is very harmful. I will give you, I'm not done, I'm gonna still talk about this. Because I will give you multiple districts.
Just for clarification, when we finish the other one, we moved on and we move on to the next one.
I'm not ready to move on, I'd still like to have it.
We can get the other ones done and we can come back to it.
Okay, now we're on the AR policy.
We don't talk about it there. There's other districts who have implemented notification policies and they are not going forward because they are illegal. They are being challenged right now, and if you guys want the attention, that's fine. But I'm not gonna be the one to do this, and again, you should be ashamed because this is harmful to some, not all, to some. If you wanna do it for your own children, fine. We'll put in language that's for your own child, but stop trying to mandate things for the entire population. And I wanna know what's gonna happen if staff doesn't comply.
That's why we negotiate, because this, whatever,
And what happens when we can't negotiate?
technically, we would do as much as we can in good faith, and then we would talk about what would happen if we don't come to an agreement. if the district moves forward in good faith, it could lead to, one possible outcome would be that the board would still see it in an agenda. But we would definitely negotiate in good faith.
Okay, so on to, AR 5010.
So moving right along. Yeah.
Is there a question? Yeah. Yes, right.
Real question. The CF one is also already all the way down. I'm assuming this all addresses the background checks, all that stuff that we do for all the fingerprinting and all that. Already, absolutely done. Volunteer assistants, visitors, classroom representation. Oh, actually, volunteers, visitors, and outsiders coming in, so they all have to go through the back door, right?
We would have to go through the onboarding process for every launch.
Number 6, have access to the school records of the child. Are we gonna say official and unofficial? Because that's what we said in the board policy, right? Official and unofficial.
Probably at codes.
Number Okay, so we didn't write this in the board policy. Notification cannot be made if notification can be made because there's reasonable suspicion of child abuse and neglect. What they have to do, that's what I don't want to do.
We can't go back, right? So we're going back.
Well, this is how you implement the policy.
These go hand in hand, so if it's in here, then it is relevant to.
Because I didn't see it actually written there, that would happen. We work on this. Because all I see down here is,
Why are we going back when you explicitly told me that we weren't allowed to go back? I want to have a conversation on board policy, and you're okay going back, but I can't go back.
I'm telling you that I wanted to say they were matching. That's all.
Michelle, are you asking about on the page, number starts with number 4 at the top of the page?
Yeah, but he said that it.
Okay, so yeah, that's going to be there.
And then on the last page under training, I know we're doing this training, all this, are we tracking the training? And we've been tracking, of the training that we have.
All staff, if there's any trainings that we have, you have records of who's completed and who's not completed. Yes.
That's all I have on this.
Why are we not going through it line by line like we did with every other one?
Oh, we can't notice anything with things I have.
I'm fine with it.
Ed codes that are on there, obviously, the ones that are with ed codes, we obviously have to
Yeah.
go through, so we're okay. The one I had a problem with was notification record keeping for change requests.
Clearly, that doesn't matter, Patty, so.
And where is that?
I want notification of participation in extracurricular, co-curricular activities stricken.
So after 10, all that, I don't agree with.
Is something funny?
Oh,
You need to do notification.
That's not funny either.
All that, under notification record.
Yeah, that the student request change to official formal aspects of your child's education.
Well, it didn't work all the way. Right? That parents will be notified, that parents will be notified of any changes.
While they're arguing, Sandy, apparently it doesn't matter.
The way, the way it goes, the way it works. And then the principal will, or designee will meet with the student to discuss the request, and inform the student about the district's procedures regarding the parent notification, and that's when they would find out if there was a reasonable suspicion of something.
So what happens when a principal tries to talk to that student and the student says, please don't tell on me, my parents will probably literally kill me, I don't want them to know.
That's a reasonable suspicion, I believe, and then they would have to investigate.
So you're gonna put the burden of inviting child protective services on that child? Yes, you are, because that's what it's doing. Because if I tell a staff member that I've deemed a trusted adult that I am not safe, if you tell on me, and you are still doing it with the understanding that you have to inform them that saying, if you're telling me this, then I have to call the authorities. So you just put that burden on that student. You have.
There's no burden on the student. If the student is in an unsafe situation where it could be harmed because of conversation, then the authorities, child protective agencies should be involved. We shouldn't have a parent who could potentially be harming a student. So that's why you would divert to the conversation with the authorities first before you do any other type of notification.
There are more types of abuse than physical abuse. And I think that if anybody here has actually ever had those sorts of abuse put on them, they will understand the gravity of the situation of stress and unnecessary pressure this puts on a student. Because if that's the case, our students need to be aware. They need to be aware that if they make, if we're gonna be real about it, okay, fine. We're gonna notify every student that if they make a change to their name, to their pronouns, that will then trigger this notification policy. And if that's the case, and if you don't want us to call home because you are in a home where your parents don't believe that your existence is real, then you should tell them that we will have to call the authorities. So that way they just stop all of this. And then we keep dead naming them.
I don't think they call the child protective services, they do have a conversation.
No, we have a conversation, yes.
They're mandated reporters.
The student makes a statement that
Will, after the person is talking to them a little bit, even though their first reaction is, oh, don't call my parents, they will come back around and realize that, yeah, my parents need to know they can help me with the struggles I have. Many kids do understand that. I mean, even as a social worker, we had to always tell kids, you know, if you tell me something that means you're going to be hurt or you're going to hurt someone else, I have to. We would tell kids, I have to call and report that, and I explain why. And most of the time, kids would be like, okay, I understand. Yeah, you can tell my mom. Just tell my mom. I mean, kids' brains are not developed to the level of an adult, so it takes time.
They still know how they feel. They still know who they are as a person. Are we not, giving them the time, the grace, the understanding to figure themselves out in a safe environment before they get out into the world?
Many studies have shown that children do best with their parents involved. And so this is just for the best for all of the kids.
You're alleging that people who don't want to be notified are not involved.
No, I didn't say that. Kids, when children have their parents involved with them and they have good communication about what's going on with their status, they have better outcomes. And their parents are involved instead of keeping secrets. That's all I said.
No one is keeping secrets.
Okay, then there should be no problem with the policy.
There is a problem with the policy. It's discriminatory.
I think that, to me, the bottom line is keeping in focus that we cannot treat parents with undue suspicion. They are our partners, these are their kids, and they need to be informed in what's going on with the children. There's gonna be, we could talk all day and night about different scenarios that can come up, but we have to come up with a policy that addresses the greatest majority of the kids and what is best for them.
So show me the data that shows that this is what's in the best interest of the majority of our students. Because you say so doesn't make it true, because I say so doesn't make it true. So where's the data?
We just need to protect our students. We need to protect our students. If this is their safe place when they come to school, then we need to protect that because that's all they have. And whatever you believe may not be what I believe. Well, obviously.
But I
Nice.
think it does help protect the student.
In your mind, it does. And what you believe is right. Yeah. What I believe is different.
So then, okay, let's make it so you can only tell on your own kid, because you're not telling on my kid.
I don't know why parents couldn't just opt out of being notified.
Okay, because that's not in here.
I know we're discussing it.
Okay, so let's make it so that parents can opt out of notification.
Opt in.
Maybe opt in.
Sorry.
Just say please be quiet.
He's like, yeah, what other districts have it over here?
Do we do opt-in or opt-out on most things? Many different things.
Well, I would think, I don't know what we do, but I would think you look at the numbers
We do both.
and opting out.
But we opt out of some things, and they ask parents to opt in to some things. Yeah, it depends on.
I think opt-out.
I think that's good.
No.
Do something.
We're gonna notify them when they're dating. I know. I'm gonna get kicked out.
Say they don't want to go to Redlands. And that's opt-in. So you might opt-in, I think that's opt-in.
They don't want to know if their child changes anything about their effort to opt out of notification.
But I think that you said one, we have to notify a resident. That's what changes.
Sure, record changes.
So then they should opt in for anything beyond that. If they're already getting a notification for official record change, if they want to know more, they should have to opt in. You're getting your policy, can we at least make it a little easier for parents?
Most parents, all of the Rasmussen polls have shown that over 70 to 80% of parents want to know the status of their child.
Oh, it's me.
I even had a parent to talk to me about how, I would, if my son or daughter wanted to undergo surgeries and change everything about them, I think I need to
Talking
know.
about surgery.
And I think I need to know about it.
Okay,
Alexa,
please, Candy, please.
Something. So if we say opt-in, that is the parents who want extra. Who want extra.
Which means
to
the
opt in.
majority of the parents.
And the data will show that, and we'll have many people opting in for majority of.
Right, they will check that little box on the in-the-day communication. So there's not one for those.
It's possible, either way is possible, opt in, opt out, it's possible.
So for anybody that just wants official record stuff, they don't have to do anything. If you want more, you have to opt in.
Notify the students.
I think it would make the most sense for the majority of parents not have to do something. So what the majority want to do, you just leave it alone. If you don't want to be notified,
We don't really know who the majority.
well, we know based on Rasmussen polls, and
What are Rasmussen polls?
70 to 80% of all American families want to know about this.
Running that poll doesn't mean it's true.
Running the, yeah, right.
Please let the board know.
Filling out your child's card, going through the areas, whatever, like your portal. It doesn't matter to own the box. It's not like a big thing. You don't have to go get a form and all that. Just check one.
What's your reasoning to, about one way or the other?
It just, that, okay, I want extra level, like I want more. And they go, okay.
That's why we do it, depending on what it is, we opt in and opt out.
Like if you don't want your kids photographed, you have to check it anymore. So, there's things that are different.
And if we're gonna add that to Aries, can we make sure that, like, they hit yes, and then just like a prompt afterwards, like a clarification? For clarification purposes, you are choosing to, whatever, just so we don't have any accidental clicks on anything.
That's typically what we do.
I would actually leave this to whatever you're choosing. You can opt in, opt out, whatever. You can, opt in, opt out, because everything.
Can we just try and opt in for the first year, and if it's something that we need to address, then we can change it to an opt-out?
Alright, so, we done with this one?
I wanna make sure that cause I said it like 3 times, nobody was listening. The participation of extracurricular and co-curricular activities is stricken.
Where is that?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, shoot.
I would say that needs to be in there. I don't really.
Close.
Oh, because they're doing it on their, during their lunchtime, that is their free time to spend as they choose.
Whatever they wanna do, go to a lunch, go to a meeting, club meeting at lunch.
Within that other.
So it's
What number are you on?
notification of participation in extracurricular, co-curricular activities, page 4.
Got it.
So are they notified if their child
Can I use the charger?
Yes, it's really, it's a team, any athletic team, parent is usually super involved in that. It's a club, like if it's an academic competition, it would be something parents are, we're talking about clubs that maybe only meet at lunchtime, where there's not a, parents may or may not have other students.
Well, I was more concerned on the teams, like if they're gonna be on a team of something where they get injured or whatever, the parents would obviously have to sign a waiver, right?
They have to, yeah, they're very involved in all athletic competition type.
You have to have physical, you have to sign.
All I want to know is, in regards to these notification policies, are you guys willing to rescind these policies should a child hurt themselves because of them? Because these new board members might not have been on that text thread, but we have been on multiple threads where we've got notification where there is gender identity
topics where students have either run away or attempted suicide, and whether or not they're accepted into their home, it doesn't matter, because just because a kid doesn't want to tell their parents doesn't mean it's that the parents don't accept them. Maybe they're just not ready. They're supposed to do it on their own time. But since we don't care about that, I want to know if you are all going to rescind these policies should someone get hurt.
That's a good question.
We have to look at them and see what.
We have to wait.
Let's see, if we just don't take this policy.
I don't understand the scenario. What do you?
Yeah, because we have been on text threads where students have attempted suicide because they are experiencing some sort of gender identity issue. And whether or not they are safe in their home is the question, because sometimes students are not prepared to come out. They might be in a loving home, they are not prepared to come out. This would force them to out themselves. So what I want to know is if a student, because inevitably we will be on a text thread where a student has attempted, and it's happened multiple times before, it will happen again. Unfortunately, we're not addressing resources to help our students with their mental health, but we're attacking them. So whether or not you believe that, it doesn't matter. However, are you willing to rescind this policy should a student be harmed because of it?
Well, I agree with what Michelle said. That would have to be a case-by-case situation. And what if a child is wanting to come out on their own time? The simple thing is they don't ask to have the school change their name. They're not ready.
We really just need the audience just hang in there. I know you've been here a long time, but we really just please the comments.
So then are we going to notify students that this is happening? Because we don't have our student trustee here, so I think that's rather deceptive. We're not taking student input, but regardless, we've heard our students. We don't care, apparently. So what I want to know is, if that's the case, is from whenever we adopt it moving forward so that our students are aware that this is what's happening.
I think they should be told.
Good. Tell the students. Make life more difficult for them.
When that part is stricken, yes. If it's going to go in Aries, then I'm not leaving it on.
With the corrections that we made.
Notification of participation in extracurricular and co-curricular activities.
Oh, yeah, like I said, we need to put that in the board too.
Okay, but I want it stricken from this policy.
It can go in the peer board.
For the nickname? Everybody keep that much track. That they're in curricular activities. That they're in clubs. Do they have access to? Do parents have access to Minga? I don't think so. I don't.
There's no section
I've
there
never used it.
that currently would house the second. So you can say yes, but it's gonna take time to figure out how to do it, right? We also have to figure out, a lot of times there's not oversight, right? So you have a lunch club that doesn't have an active employee that's supervising that. So how do we capture that information? And if a kid is visiting on a one-off, does that mean he's now enrolled in that club and now has to be notified? Or, like, there's details to this. It's not as simple as, if they're in a club, we're gonna record it. Like, what does in a club consist of?
Yeah, because once clubs go in one day and the next.
Yeah.
They go hang out with their friends.
So this
Wait,
isn't a
what does it say?
simple,
Does it say 23
yes, we'll
minutes now?
notify. You have to think through those details.
It was 10 minutes before.
And it's not as simple as in every.
Actually, yeah, Casey did it, but did you say hopefully they did that? Like they're in the club, but they're not necessarily be surprised when she finds out I'm Asian.
It doesn't matter, because I'm only one or the other, but. Yeah, we get a notification, all we did is take out the.
Lady flag.
Let's go, you got your way.
No, it is. It is. Because she has spent 0 time on this board in our schools. I've been doing this for now my 5th year. You've been doing it longer. Patty's been doing it longer. And this is embarrassing. I don't think we should be disparaging of each other. I will disparage you all day long. I don't care. You disparage our students, I'm going to disparage you.
We do have one other one, policy 6000.
Yeah. Did they pass it with the kid?
Take that whole line out.
Took out the club. I guess they took out the club. If the parents are going to notify them, they change their records. If they change their name in the record. Just don't change the name in the record.
We kind of went through that one before.
This one is related
RTA is probably going to push back on anything that we're required to
it's
do.
not exactly the same,
Still work.
but it's about instructional materials, it's about actual curriculum. And ensuring, what this is saying is that we would not have, what you can do right there. In our instruction.
I won't be here this weekend. I got it down.
We don't have anything in our instructional materials.
Oh, great. Okay. Which one is this one?
So where does our sex ed curriculum fit into that? Because is showing a penis or a vagina going to be considered vulgar or obscene?
No, that's fine.
That is.
And also if it's done in sex ed class, that's different.
How does sex ed class?
Well, sex ed time frame for instruction. But if it's in math class or something unrelated, then it shouldn't be there.
I don't think math class is gonna have this.
Well, I can show you things that are happening in other districts, so I would rather have a policy that precludes it before.
What districts?
So like, can I use the charger?
Melissa, I was not informed that I needed to come prepared with.
You're bringing a policy forward. Excuse me for asking you for the data behind it. If I come to you guys with a policy, I expect to have data to support it, because I'm not just gonna come with a policy out of nowhere.
Well, you didn't come with that on the raise issue, you asked.
I did actually.
No, you asked Juan.
I did provide that data.
And I didn't.
No, I'm not okay with it. So I will leave in the district's education program, including all of its instructional materials, shall also comply with legal requirements, and everything after that can get stricken. The district's program and instructional materials should be age appropriate and course related. The board recognizes determinations regarding appropriateness and compliance with this policy with respect to the program and instructional materials often must be made on a case-by-case basis in context, and the board encourages discussion amongst administrators, teachers, parents, and the board itself to facilitate such determinations. So I would like it to say the board recognizes the importance of providing instructional materials that reflect a wide variety of perspectives and experiences. In the interest of protecting a student's First Amendment rights, the board shall not censor nor unduly restrict access of the student body as a whole to instructional materials via unilateral policymaking characterized by vague language and overbroad prohibitions. The board affirms and does its due diligence to ensure district curriculum programs and instructional materials are rigorously selected by professionals with specialized knowledge in the subject matter at hand, and that in accordance with this standard, any challenge of the appropriateness of these materials and programs shall be made on a case-by-case basis and in context with extensive community and administrative input.
She read something that's not there.
I prefer that.
One of you mind holding this? I gotta go get the pizza.
Yeah. So this is my suggestion as an edit. I didn't bring forth a whole new policy, so I don't have to provide it to everybody ahead of time.
needs to be provided to everybody right here so everybody can see it. But yeah, that's what's happening right now.
I showed it to Michelle, she can show it to you after.
We can make copies, but everybody can look at that.
Everybody
copy.
can make a copy.
We can make copies.
I just don't understand why there's so much hostility.
Oh, God.
We're not gonna have any participation from. And this is your opinion, I'm allowed to have mine, and so I'm sorry if my opinion
I'm hoping she went over to the issue. Okay. I see what you're saying. I think it needs to be more clear. I agree with you. To make sure. Yeah, there's no one-on-one. Exactly like this. It's been a while. We can make that change now. Thank you for the yeah, I'm gonna.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll put out here. Okay, we'll have to. The original.
Technical difficulty.
That's fine. She can keep going. The language that should be highlighted is the sixth paragraph down says proposal. That's the part that is being proposed. I think we made copies for the public. Yeah, I'm going to go with you want to grab one.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Sure do.
We're gonna get started again. If you want to get some pizza quietly, I'd appreciate it.
Sorry. The board recognizes where it is a replacement, but if we want to squeeze it in, we can squeeze it in, but I would like it to replace it. Oh, you're taking out old. I would like to replace it. Oh, I
With the one underneath.
Okay. Just rephrases it, and it just says that we have done our due diligence to make sure that our instructional materials with our community and administrative input are appropriate, and they reflect a wide variety of perspectives and experiences, and they are not a unilateral policy, and that we are making sure that we are providing a broad instruction and protecting our students' First Amendment rights.
Which I'm not concerned, we will restrict access to the student body as a whole to instructional material. Yeah, and unilateral policy may be characterized by vague language of over broad prohibitions. What are you saying there?
Because this board is making a unilateral decision for our instructional materials, which our students have a right to. This is a political issue, and it should not be.
I don't see how inappropriate vulgarity, sexual violence.
There is nothing in there.
How
We're
that
not,
is a political issue. It just
because
seems
there's
like
nothing
it's for
in
the
there,
good of
but
children.
it's good for you to look like and make sure that you did something here.
Not
Show
true.
me where we're, you know what, because I know at least one of you went around campaigning on that we were giving children drugs to change their gender. And so I want to know, in all the school visits that you've gone on, where are we performing surgery? And I want to know, because these are the decisions.
Jeanette did.
Decisions.
Jeanette did. Jeanette did.
Getting closer to
We're
it.
getting really close to shutting this down so that the board can finish this. We're on our 6th hour here.
That we're doing our due diligence and making sure that we are providing appropriate materials.
Well, I mean, it's just saying, in our instructional material, we don't do any of this sexual stuff. We talk to our kids in classrooms.
Right.
There's nothing in our instructional materials that are saying that.
Let's keep it that way.
But why do we need a policy to include it?
We don't need to have that.
Make sure it doesn't happen. Exactly.
Been since 1999.
It's due for an update.
And show me where we are teaching this stuff.
I didn't say you were. Let's just keep it out. It's not appropriate.
Let's just keep what we have. It's 1999.
Time for an update.
Yes, but not that. Not that one.
In instructional material, I think it's important. Because every student is in every class, they're all in classes, they all have to listen to it.
And they can opt, if something does come up, parents have the opportunity to opt their children out of it.
Hey, did you figure out what those colors go?
100% here.
Michelle, are you okay with what was submitted to change?
Pretty sure they came up with the final solution just like this. I know, pretty much.
I would take out those three words I took out in the first one.
You're talking about two different things, just to clarify.
I'm okay. Are you okay with the counter proposal, Michelle?
No, we're gonna take out the sexual, whatever stuff. We took it all out, it's not in there. It just does the 401 censor stuff, and I'm not for that.
You've been on the board for how many years? And you haven't had a problem all this time?
Years, and
And now all of a sudden,
I've always done, I don't want that in any of our.
I understand that.
So, and where is it?
So I'm still saying it, and if it's in the policy, it doesn't mean it's in our school, it means we're not having it in our schools. That's what policy does. It doesn't say, oh, it's at this school and we want it out, it says we're not gonna have it.
Don't you think that if it was in the school and we had to clarify that we want it out, it's because it's there and you need to get it out?
This policy, this was written,
I'm not talking to you.
this was written to keep it out.
I understand that, but, I mean, we can say a lot of things. We can say we don't want pedophiles in our school, we want to get them out. Where's the board policy for that then? Well, but apparently it's not good enough, it's just, in Rhode Island system, we need to have a board policy for it.
I'm a no on this one. I'm a no. A yes?
Can I take a vote?
So sharp.
Move forward with this.
It's not a vote, it's just a direction to move forward, not move forward.
No.
But that is the last one that we had.
Oh, we said we were gonna go back.
Any last comments?
I don't think this is okay, and I want to make sure that you are all aware of the harm you are doing to our students and how illegal this all is. There are plenty of districts who are still litigating this because it's not allowed. And you are very well aware that we're inviting litigation, because we don't have enough of that.
I would just offer that this is part of the process. This is not the finality of any of these policies. This is a direction to move
Let's
forward.
not pretend. Everyone's showing their bias today.
I'm just explaining the process. What we have today are direction on 2 policies that will move forward for negotiations. That's all we have today.
Shameful.
Yes.
Then I'd like to see those other policies, the ones that we didn't agree on, die.
Those other 2 policies as of today are not moving forward. There's 2 board policies, concepts and rules, and books, and books AR. Those are 3 that we have direction. No, I said that wrong. It was notification, AR on notification, BP on notification, and concepts and rules. The books and the flags is not moving forward.
I hope you're all proud.
Shame on you. Spineless! You are spineless, Michelle. Shame on you. How many dead? When these kids kill themselves, I hope they name you in the lawsuit. How many dead kids is okay with you?
Please, thank you for coming, please.
We'll be back when these come back up, and Michelle, we'll replace you.
We are going to replace her.
We're gonna recall you. Pathetic. Horrible people. Does anyone want to know about a recall? Please come see us up here. All of these people can be recalled. Yeah. No, I can't go because these guys are following positions, so I can go up there. But I'll see if I can just say.
Their constituents.
The best of times for school administrators, so it's easy.
Sorry, 1 second. Just grab my stuff. It's not mine. It's not mine. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Please follow along for more.